What's up, Warriors? Coach Corey Fernandez here. This is going to be a very important video that many of you guys will watch, and I encourage you guys to watch it more than once. This is going to be our nutrition series, and it's basically our Warrior nutrition protocols, so that way you guys can best get results in this program. All right, so any of you guys that are doing your 6-week Warrior Shred, or if you're in our 12-week transformation program, you will be sent this video and you need to go over it, right? This is going to help you learn how to eat properly. This is going to learn how to set the foundation for how you're going to eat, for the rest of your life, right? Because we want you to create a lifestyle, and we want you to be healthy, and we want you to get the results that you guys came for this program. Many of you guys might be a member that have graduated from the 12-week transformation, that have finished a Warrior Shred. You've been with us for 2-3 years, whatever it is. Guys, this is a video that you can always go back to and make sure you truly understand everything you need to when it comes to your nutrition. Okay, so this will be a staple in the program. Now, what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to screen share here, so that way we can follow and stay with me. All right, so let's start it off. This is our Warrior Nutrition series. So this first video we titled it Habits and Choices, because this is how you have to begin your journey, okay? What we're gonna do in this whole experience is, it's my job as the coach who's gonna be teaching you this, and our coaching staff, is we wanna give you guys simplicity. We wanna take all the confusing stuff and make it manageable, make it easy for you guys to understand, so that way you can take action. Complexity it's the enemy of action, right? So a lot of times people don't know what to do with nutrition because they just feel overwhelmed. So this video is truly going to make things simple for you, so you can start to make better choices and better habits. All right, let me just start my slideshow. All right, so what are we going to exactly cover, guys, in this video? Just think of it as the basic information that anyone who's starting their journey is going to need to be successful. So again, if you're someone who's like, man, I do not know what to eat, I'm confused, this video is going to be the starting point for that. All right, what we're going to go over is, hey, what are some important habits to basically improve your health? And then also, what at the end of this video, it should change the relationship some of you guys have with food. Because I think a lot of us, we think that's bad food, or if I have that one piece of chocolate, everything's ruined, and it's just not the case, right? So those are the 3 main objectives that you guys will get through watching this 3-part video series. Now, the first area that we want to start with, guys, is the Warrior 20. So what's the Warrior 20? This is a list of 20 foods that are basically, they're just loaded with nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and these are the foods that if you eat these foods consistently, what's going to happen, it's going to help you build more muscle, it's going to help you lose fat, it's going to help you improve your performance, whether it's strength and endurance, but really, really important that people underestimate, it's going to help your body recover, right? So a lot of us are already coming into this program with inflammation and pain, and a big result of that is the things that we eat. So if we're going to eat this Warrior 20 food, you're going to get so many more benefits than just building muscle and losing fat. It's the way you perform, but it's also the way you guys recover. So these are the 20 foods that we want you guys to eat. All right, so where can you guys find this? I'm going to show you guys right now. I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so this is what it looks like. We have different copies. Usually the one that we have, guys, it's black and gold. You can find this in the file section of our Familia Facebook group. All of the important files that we have, they're all there. Now, again, for you guys that are doing your 6 and your 12 weeks, you guys get emailed and text this as a reminder to review this, okay, as a part of that program. Now, going over it, this is what it is, guys. So this is broken into macronutrients, which I will explain shortly. Macronutrients, think of it as these are the energy, these are the things that your body absolutely needs to survive and to thrive. All right. What those macronutrients are broken into is three important areas. And as you can see here, it's protein, it's fats, which is at the bottom, and then after it's carbohydrates. Okay, so those are the three things that we're going to review shortly. But I just want you guys to take a quick look, and you guys can see, we're giving you guys the examples of the type of protein you should be eating. Ones that we have here, guys, we have eggs, we have lean meats, we have fatty fishes, we have fermented soy. There's other ones out there, but again, these are like the best that we recommend. Then again, for the fats, right, you have nuts, you have seeds, you have olive oil. And then, all these things kind of are encompassed in one, where you have your legumes, your starches, your grains, and you have your fruits and vegetables. All those are basically classified, guys, under carbs, right? Carbohydrates. So those are the three types of macronutrients that our body absolutely needs to have, all right? So all these foods, you're going to basically have to understand how to identify them. Like, are protein good for me? Are fruits good for me? What type of carbs should I have? They're all on this page, right? So pretty much you could put this on your fridge. You can memorize it. It's just an easy way to, especially in the beginning, to learn what's protein, what's carbs, what's fats. All right. So let's go back to our other screen. All right. So let's continue slideshow. All right, so we're back into it. So let's go back into it again. Reminder, the 20 foods that we suggest in our program that you guys should be having. It's broken into what you can see here at the bottom into your three macronutrients, which are going to be protein, carbs, and fats, which we'll dive into on the next page, okay? Now, before we go into that, just so you guys understand, because you might hear the term micronutrients. And again, what micronutrients? They're the nutrients the body needs, but in small amounts. So think of it in short, guys, micronutrients are the vitamins and minerals that you're going to get from your food, okay? The Warrior 20 foods that we are prescribing you guys to eat, they're packed and loaded with nutrients and vitamins. And that's why we want you guys to have them, okay? Now, the macronutrients, again, so you understand, repetition is the skill, so you keep hearing it again. These are the nutrients your body needs in large amounts. So basically think macronutrients, they're the energy and the calories that our body absolutely needs. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Now, moving forward, people, Warrior 20 and macronutrients. So again, these are the three types of macronutrients, right? The large nutrients in the form of energy, calories, that our body absolutely needs. So again, it's broken into protein, fats, and carbs. What's the point of having protein? Okay, very simply, guys, it's to aid you into building muscle and to repairing your body's muscle tissues. Okay, that is why people are always saying, man, eat chicken breast, or man, eat fish, and eat these things that are high in protein, because they're going to help you build muscle, which is what a lot of you guys are coming to this program, but it's also going to repair your body from the training and the performing that you're doing, okay? So simplify it. Protein, build muscle, repair tissue, okay? Next, fats, all right? So fats get a bad rep, but our body needs fats. And again, there's different types of fats. There's good fats, there's bad fats. I'm not even going to dive into that, because for a lot of you guys, it doesn't matter that much at this point. Trans fats, those are classified as like the bad fats. Okay, so you can remember that name. But a lot of the fats that we want you guys to have is the olive oil, the coconut oil, the avocado. Those are things that are good for you, because basically what they do is they help your body absorb vitamins better. They also, too, provide our body energy as well. Okay, so think of fat as that, and it's something that we absolutely need to have in our diet, okay? Now, lastly, carbohydrates, okay? Carbs probably get the worst rep out of anything, and the whole purpose of carbs is to, again, provide our body fuel, to provide our body energy. Carbohydrates are sugars, essentially. And carbohydrates, it's kind of broken down into different categories. You have vegetables, where sometimes people say, oh, I'm not having carbs. So it's like, what? You're not going to have veggies, right? So vegetables are carbs. Fruits, fruits nowadays are starting to get a bad rep. I don't know why, but fruits are carbs that give us energy, that give us good sugars, and it's something that also provides us vitamins and minerals, right? And then our last one is starches. Starches is where people are like, oh man, I'm gaining so much weight because I eat too much starch. That for a lot of you guys is probably true. You probably overconsume on starches and not enough vegetables and fruits. But eating starches is not inherently bad for you. It's just most people are consuming too much and not having enough protein, okay, or fruits and vegetables. So those are the different types of carbs. But remember, carbs are so important because they give us fuel and energy, not only for physical training, which you guys are going to need that fuel to do the type of real training we do when it comes to weightlifting, when it comes to sprinting. You need to have the fuel to do that. But guys, carbs is also important for your brain, right? If you don't have the right amount of glucose, your brain doesn't function at optimal levels as well. All right. So this is why we're having Warrior 20s. So we're having the right amount of protein, the right amount of fats, the right amount of carbs. Okay. So a couple things I want you guys to understand in this first part. You're someone who's learning about nutrition. So if you want to eat healthy, if you want to lose fat, build muscle, you need to be able to look at food and identify what macronutrients do I get from this food. So again, let me say this another way. Can you look at any piece of food? Can I look at, let's just say, chicken and be able to say, I know what macronutrient that is? It's either going to be protein, carbs, or fats, okay? The correct answer would be, hey, if I'm looking at chicken, I would know chicken, it's predominantly going to be protein. Okay, so we want you guys to look at any food and understand what the macronutrient is, all right? And how you do that is, what is the dominant? Because every food has, not every food, but many of the foods that you consume, they'll have carbs, they'll have fats, and some of them might have protein. But what we want to know is what the dominant is. So again, let me give you guys another example. Quinoa. Okay, so quinoa, the macronutrient that falls under is carbs, right? It's primarily a starch. And a typical serving of quinoa is like, let's just say it's this handful. You're looking at maybe close to 25 to 30 grams of carbohydrates. But also, that typical serving also will give you around 10 grams of protein, okay? The point that I'm trying to make is how you would identify it is you would identify it as a carb, though. Okay, just like broccoli. Broccoli, if you were to identify, you know it's a vegetable, but again, what type of macronutrient is it? It's a carb. So we're primarily getting carbohydrates from that. But broccoli also does have protein, but just such a small amount, right? So like I'm going off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure a serving of broccoli might have, you know, maybe 2 grams of protein, something very low. Like it's very insignificant. So you wouldn't say, hey, this is a protein. You're going to classify it as a carbohydrate. So that's something in terms of your initial knowledge. That's the first thing you need to do as a warrior, guys, is you need to be able to look at the food that you're eating and that you're putting into your mouth and be able to distinguish, am I consuming protein, a carb, or a fat right now? Okay? Step 2, you need to make consistently good Warrior 20 choices, right? So it doesn't mean that, guys, you can't have a bag of chips. It doesn't mean you can't have chocolate. It doesn't mean you can't have wine. The point that we want to get you guys to is that 80% of the time, right? 80% of the time, you are consuming these Warrior 20 foods. So meaning you're consuming vegetables, you're consuming rice, you're consuming apples and oranges, you're consuming salmon and chicken or tofu. Those are the 80% that we want. The 20% of the time, you're able to indulge. But again, what we're going to teach you through this video series is to indulge in moderation and to be able to track what you're indulging in. Okay? Now, Warrior 20 foods, guys, they're really important because they fall under this category right here. They are essentially whole foods and they are plant-based, right? So you might have heard those terms go around a lot. Think of whole foods as like natural, fresh, they're grown from the ground. Like those are the type of things that we want you guys to consume. Plant-based, hey, these are, plants. They're veggies. And, veggies and fruits are proven to have like the most amounts of vitamins and nutrients in them, right? So those are the type of foods that you guys are eating when you commit to eating Warrior 20. Why this is also very important is these are very high in nutrients. So again, nutrients meaning vitamins and minerals, but they're also very low in calories, right? In most cases. So we're going to talk about this in a second. When we're trying to lose fat or if we're trying to gain muscle mass, calorie control plays a big part of it. It's not only the quality of food you choose. Okay, so remember, we want to be eating whole foods. We want to be eating plant-based foods that are in our Warrior 20 because we're going to get packed with nutrients, and these foods are generally lower in calories, so we can eat more of them. Okay, now foods that we're trying to keep in our 20% is going to be processed foods, right? So what does processed foods mean? It means things that have like a long-lasting shelf life. So they have a lot of preservatives that are put in it so it can last longer. So it's not as natural. They're usually packaged up. They're in the grocery store shelves. It doesn't mean like they're like super bad for you. It's just you don't want that to be 80% of what you're eating. It needs to stay in that 20%, right? Now, other things, fast foods, right? Again, fast foods, go back to what I was talking about, the bad type of fat that we don't want to consume a lot of that leads to high cholesterol and to high blood pressure is trans fats. So when you're going to consume fast foods, most of what you're having is foods that are packed with trans fat. Okay, so again, the last one, sugar. Sugar gets a really bad rep, and sugar isn't necessarily the greatest for you, but you can still have sugar in small amounts. Remember, we're talking about this 20%. But again, why you want to avoid having sugar is because high fructose corn syrup, which is probably the worst type of sugar you can have, it's linked to obesity. It's linked to having high blood pressure. It's linked to just having, bad health overall. So these three types of food is where we want to definitely keep into our 20%. So again, just to go back, whole foods, plant-based, yes, those are great, packed with nutrients, and they're lower calories. Processed foods, fast foods, high fructose corn syrup, foods that have those ingredients, they usually have very low amounts of nutrients, right? So they're not giving us much value, but they're usually packed with calories. And when people have that in a mass amount and for long periods of time, hey, that's how we start to gain weight. That's how we start to get other health scares as well. Okay? So hopefully everyone's kind of sticking with me right now and understanding this. Now, let's get it over to calories. Now, what the heck is calories? We hear it all the time. We hear, hey, man, if I sprint this much, I'll burn. If I squat this much, if I eat this much. Calories, guys, in the simplest way we can possibly explain it to you, it's just a way of measuring, right? So it's a unit of energy. Pretty much all the foods, when we measure them, they have a worth of calories, right? They have a unit of energy. So your body tracks the amount of energy coming in and coming out, and it tracks it in the form of calories, okay? So you can see here we have protein, carbs, and fats. These are our macronutrients, okay? These have different worth of energy, right? So you can see 1 gram of protein is essentially worth 4 calories, okay? 1 gram of carbs is worth 4 calories, okay? Now, fats, why most of the time, not always, right? Because there's different types of diets, but why most of the time people are encouraged to have smaller portions of fats is because fats are more calorie dense, right? They have more calories. You can see 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories. So a lot of the times people will pack on extra calories not knowing because they're eating foods that are high in fat, whether it be good fat or bad fat. It's just high in fat, meaning more calories. Okay, so really understanding the calories of what you get from your protein, carbs, and fat is going to be important. Now, calorie surplus versus calorie deficit. This is basically going to explain to you what you need in order to either lose weight or to gain weight. Okay, so this is the definition that I want you guys to understand. When you put more energy into your body, then you burn, the excess will gradually be stored as fat and you will gain weight. All right, so let me say it again. When I'm putting more calories in than I am burning, over time, those calories get stored in my body and they accumulate into gained weight or gained fat. What that is called, team, that's called the calorie surplus. Majority of you guys that join this program, you guys have been consuming a calorie surplus for months, but also for a lot of you guys for years. And that's why it's been, you know, a 5 pound, a 10 pound, a 20 pound gain that has happened over a certain amount of time. What we need to do is we need to get you into a calorie deficit if you're trying to lose weight. If you've come into this program and you're very skinny, you're slim, you've always struggled to have size and to build muscle, then what you need to do is you need to actually stay in the calorie surplus. You need to eat more food, right? We need to give you more carbs and more proteins and more fats so that way you can, over time, put on more weight and build more muscle while you're training. Okay, now the next one, calorie deficit, is when you burn more energy than you put into your body, you end up losing weight. Okay, so again, you are burning, your body is burning more calories, whether it's through the training that you're doing, whether it's through the lifestyle, whether it's the foods that you're eating, you are essentially burning more calories than you are taking in. That is the simple science to losing weight. Okay, now, you will not, I want to be clear, guys, if you are not losing weight, okay, and I'm saying, you know, from month to month, if you're kind of looking at your results and you're not losing weight, that means you're not in a calorie deficit, which can also mean you're probably not making the best choices when it comes to your food. But then also what you're going to learn in the upcoming videos is you're probably not tracking what you're eating, which is going to be why you're not sure why you can't lose weight. Okay, so step 3, I want you to work on eating in a calorie deficit or a surplus based on your goals. So now that you know the information that you're like, hey, I understand what calorie deficit is, I understand what a calorie surplus is, what is my goal and what am I trying to accomplish? That's how you're going to be able to then start beginning to track how much you eat. All right, so conclusion for this video. I can stop sharing here for a second. Very simple, guys. The conclusion for this video is you have to first be someone who is learning. So this video is to just set the foundation so that way you can identify protein, carbs, and fats. You know the difference of what's good food and what's, I guess, bad food. I don't even like saying that, but what's not as nutritionally beneficial for you. Okay? That is the first part for anyone. If you try to avoid that and just say, give me the piece of paper, give me the piece of paper, and I'll just follow it, you are never going to have long-term and sustainable results because you don't have the skill, right? You don't have the skill of being able to identify food and understanding it. So that is the first part, guys. We want you to be more knowledgeable, okay? The next step to your journey is, now that you have the knowledge, because knowledge is potential power, action is true power. Okay, so by action, I'm saying now, guys, we have to make consistently good choices. So before you start tracking calories and all those things, it's like, let's make good choices. When we look down on our plate, do I see a good amount of vegetables on that plate? When I look down on that plate, do I see some carbs? When I look down on that plate, do I see some sort of protein? If I can make those type of choices and have 2 to 3 of those type of meals in a day, that's going to be the initial start to results, right? And again, for many of you guys, you will simply get results by starting to exercise, because it's been years for some of you that you haven't moved at all, And then when you add that with simply making better choices, you start to lose weight. It's that simple because now you're picking foods that have more nutrients, but also they're lower in calories. So this video, again, just to rephrase everything, it's understanding these very basic concepts, and then it's consistently making these choices. 80% of the time, I'm going to be committing to having these Warrior 20 foods on my plate. The other 20% of the time, hey, I can afford to have a little bit of chips. I can afford to have a chocolate. I can afford to have a glass of wine. The next videos, what we're going to do is we're going to teach you guys how to count calories. Okay, we're going to give you guys a couple different options. But again, don't move on to counting calories until you understand everything in this video. Watch this multiple times, write down questions. If any of you guys are private clients, this is the stuff that you guys can talk about one-on-one with the coach for 25 minutes. Okay, guys? This is video series number 1, and it's all about gaining the knowledge, understanding your habits, and just changing your relationship to how you feel about food. All right? Feasting.